Shalom Israel, this is Priest and Officer Yakad back here with some biblical context, you understand, to bring, the truth and the understanding from the ISUPK under commanding General Yahama. Today we're going to go through a very famous scripture, which is John 3 and 16. You understand? It's a very famous scripture that is used, by Christianity and the Christian church, to bring everybody together as one. But because of, the lack of context and the lack of understanding, we misuse, or Christianity misuse these scriptures. So we're going to give you some context to understand what it actually really means and who it was really speaking about. So here it goes. The book of John chapter 3 and verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, on the surface, you would read it and say, well, this includes everybody. But we don't understand context is key. Who, what, when, and where. Who this was speaking to. When it was speaking about. Where. You understand? This is context. And we're going to go into the scriptures a little bit to get a quick context of this. You understand? When you go a few verses before, you will understand the context of who's really speaking to and about. Right? So we go into John chapter 3 and verse 14. Which says, we start at 13. And no man had ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven, talking about Christ. Verse 14 says, And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Now this is drawing relation that Christ will be lifted up, and it's being lifted up, you understand, just like the serpent, you understand, was lifted up, you understand, by Moses. So where did this happen? We had to understand context to know who this was talking about. So when we go to the book of Numbers chapter 21 and verse 7, it says, Therefore people came to Moses, we have sinned, and we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live. So this is giving you a contrast of what happened. The people spoke against Moses, because when they came out against Moses and against the Lord, and the Lord brought fiery serpents against them that bit them, and they were unalive because of that. And they came to Moses and prayed and said, relieve us from this pain, relieve us from this, what we did. And Moses did that by the Lord telling him to build, you understand, a pole and put a serpent on it. Right? This image of the fiery serpent, which is today what we use as the medical term or the medical symbol. This is serpent on a stick, which is healing. Right? So when they passed and they looked upon this fiery serpent on the stick, they would get healed. And this is where the passage of scripture from verse 14 in John 3 and 16 is talking about. So when the children of Israel looked upon, you understand, this serpent, they would be healed. From how Christ, you understand, when the nation of Israel look up upon Christ, they will be healed from their sin. This was not talking about the entire world. This was not talking about everybody else. This only spoke about the nation of Israel.